The woman slapped her stepsister across the face in the middle of the wedding. It turns out, 3 years ago, her own father had her committed to a mental asylum. He coldly told her he only married her mom for the family's influence, and now that her mom was gone, she was just an obstacle he needed to get rid of. As she was being dragged away, her stepsister and stepmother just watched with triumphant smiles, but the woman didn't break inside the asylum. She became the toughest patient in the whole hospital, taking down anyone who dared to cross her. All she wanted was revenge. 3 years later, a nurse told her that her stepsister was about to marry Sheng Xiaoye, the wealthy heir who was supposed to be her fiancé. She knew it was time. She rallied the other patients, escaped the asylum, and headed straight for the wedding. Just as the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, her voice echoed through the hall. She stormed down the aisle, knocking guards aside, and announced she was there to crash the wedding. Her family was stunned. She introduced herself to the groom as his true fiancé Lu Jingtong. When her stepsister screamed that she was a lunatic, she slapped her hard, reminding everyone that as a certified mental patient, she could get away with anything. She then turned to the groom and asked if he dared to elope with her. Intrigued, he agreed, picking her up and carrying her out of there, leaving her entire family humiliated. When they got to his mansion, he tried to lay down some rules, telling her their marriage was just for show and that there would be no love between them. But she just threw him onto the bed. She told him he was nothing but a trophy in her quest for revenge, a tool to take back everything that was stolen from her. She warned him to be a good little trophy and stay out of her way. She slapped her new cousin-in-law across the face. Turns out it was her first day at the Sheng family estate, and her husband's cousin immediately tried to pull rank, calling her a lunatic and demanding she learn the family rules. But she wasn't intimidated. When the cousin grabbed her arm, she was slapped again. Her rule was simple: whoever started with her would get hit. She kept slapping the cousin until she was finally shown the proper respect. Only then did she reveal why she was there. The night before, her new husband, Sheng Xiaoye, had demanded to know the real reason she crashed his wedding. She had told him it was none of his business, but then offered him a deal. She knew his family was in the middle of a vicious inheritance battle and offered to help him win. In exchange, he would help her get revenge on the Lu family. He was skeptical, warning her that his relatives were like wolves, but she just smiled. She reminded him that she was a certified mental patient, and that when people messed with her, she tended to act up. He was intrigued by her nerve and agreed to the deal, handing her a black card for spending money before secretly ordering his assistant to dig into her past. Back at the estate, the humiliated cousin and her stepsister plotted their own revenge. Inside, she was presented to the family patriarch. The cousin brought the boiling tea with a smirk, but she simply took the tray, and in one swift move, poured the whole thing right on the cousin, who screamed in pain. She shoved the family patriarch down the stairs in his wheelchair. Her husband's uncle was furious at her for crashing the wedding, and the family patriarch declared he would never accept such a wild woman. Just then, her stepsister and her husband's cousin arrived with the tea for the welcome ceremony. She took it and calmly poured it all over her face. As the cousin screamed in pain, the uncle lunged at her, but she slapped him across the face first, casually saying that she thought a fly was buzzing in her ear. That's when she grabbed the patriarch's wheelchair and sent it flying down the grand staircase. As the family panicked, she calmly reminded them that since they all knew she was a lunatic, they really shouldn't have messed with her. She then confronted each of them, exposing their pathetic little plans to get her disowned and use her as a pawn. With a final move, she flipped the entire tea table, shattering the expensive set. Just as her stepsister and cousin started screaming that she was a shameless lunatic who was going to be thrown out, her husband Sheng Xiaoye showed up. He walked straight to her, took her hand, and announced to everyone that Lu Jingtang was his wife. To secure her position, he gave her a priceless emerald heirloom set from his late mother, along with property deeds, car keys, and unlimited bank cards. When his cousin protested that the lunatic wasn't worthy of such gifts, she slapped her again. This time, her husband defended her, coolly asking if it was wrong for his wife to teach a disrespectful cousin a lesson. He forced the terrified girl to apologize. He then took his wife's hand and led her upstairs to rest, leaving his whole family defeated and speechless. Once they were alone, he simply asked if her performance was good enough and if their deal was now on. She warned him that if he crossed her, she would kill him. She pressed the sharp hairpin against his throat, reminding him of their deal. He agreed to cooperate, hoping they could work well together. In their new home, she claimed the master bedroom, but he refused to sleep anywhere else, explaining that in this old family house, sleeping separately would make people suspicious. He assured her he had no interest in her anyway. But later that night, as she sat in bed, he came out of the bathroom with just a towel wrapped around him. He caught her looking and asked if she liked what she saw. She boldly walked over to him, running her hand across his chest. She said that she'd seen a lot of men, but his body was the best. He grabbed her wrist, his mind racing. He wondered who these other men were that she'd seen. As he got more suspicious, he got a text. His guy had information about his new wife. Telling her he had to step out, he left immediately. As soon as he was gone, her phone rang. It was her friend, calling from a nightclub, buzzing with excitement. News of how she had hijacked the wedding had gone viral. Her friend then told her that she could see her wicked stepsister at that same club, dancing wildly with two shirtless guys. She knew it was time to collect the debt. She asked for the address and hung up before her friend could mention that her new husband had just walked into the same club. She put on a stunning red dress, ready for a confrontation. Meanwhile, her husband sat down with his guy, who told him the shocking truth. 3 years ago, at only 18, his wife had been diagnosed with a severe mental illness and was forcibly committed by her family to a psychiatric hospital, a place that held the nation's most dangerous and messed up criminals, a place where inmates died mysteriously every year. But somehow, she had survived for 3 years without a scratch. He was stunned. He wondered who this woman he married really was. He ordered his guy to dig deeper, to find out everything about those 3 years. Just then, he got another text telling him his wife was at the club, looking incredible. But from across the club, she spotted her stepsister. She thought to herself that this was for her father and her stepsister, for sending her to that hospital. She decided that tonight, she would collect the interest. She started a silent countdown. 3, 2, 1. The club plunged into darkness, the music screeching to a halt. When the lights snapped back on, everyone was staring at her. She had already punched her stepsister in the face. Humiliated and sporting a black eye, the stepsister screamed, demanding to know who did this as the crowd went wild, filming her disgrace. She cried out for help from the man she had stolen, but he was nowhere to be found. She then viciously shoved her through a champagne tower, leaving her soaked and defeated on the floor. The stepsister shrieked as she finally realized who did it. She then grabbed her by the throat. She whispered for her not to move, pressing a piece of broken glass against her skin and warning that it would go right through her eye. She warned her that next time, the glass would go through her brain. Suddenly, her husband showed up. He said coldly that even a dog knows its owner, and that since she insulted his wife, she could come to him if she had a problem. He then publicly challenged her father, daring him to mess with the Sheng family. Turning to his wife, he asked if she had enough fun and suggested they go home. She sneered and asked who his dog was. He accused her of lying about being asleep, and then in front of everyone, swept her off her feet and carried her out of the club. She yelled at him to put her down, but he ignored her, throwing her into the back of his car. He pinned her arms above her head, demanding to know why she was so pissed off. He asked if she was jealous because he showed up at the same club as her stepsister. She replied that she was pissed because she hated her stepsister. She explained that even if she were to kill her own dog and bury it, she would never let her stepsister eat it. He was furious. He demanded to know who her dog was. He stared at her, his anger turning into something else, and then he crushed his lips against hers. She held a sharp hairpin to his chest, demanding he admit he was wrong. He finally admitted he was wrong. She stopped recording, telling him the video was now blackmail material. She threatened that if he ever disobeyed her, she'd send it to his grandmother. Realizing he'd been played, he could only watch as she walked away, telling him it was too late to apologize. She had a new order. Tomorrow, he would go with her back to her family home. The next day, he met her at a high-end boutique where she was trying on a stunning dress. She calmly said that she had a plan. She explained that when they got to the Liu family home, she might attack some people and he was not supposed to interfere. His only job was to clean up the mess. He agreed without hesitation, telling her to trust in the power of his name. When they got there, she stared at the sign that now read, Liu Mansion. This was her mother's home, the Shu Mansion. Clutching a brick her husband had silently handed her, she walked towards the gate. As he held an umbrella over her, she threw the brick, shattering the sign. Her father and stepsister rushed out in a rage. Her father demanded to know what she thought she was doing. She confronted him, asking where the Shu Mansion sign had gone. Her stepsister sneered that the Shu family was bankrupt and this was Liu territory now. Just then, her stepmother showed up, slapping the stepsister for her sass before turning on her. So she had no power here before ordering the guards to take her down. Instantly, a group of thugs surrounded her, holding batons. With a single order from her stepsister, the men attacked, but she effortlessly took them down one by one, leaving everyone stunned. Her stepsister was furious, calling her a psycho and demanding her father have her locked up in a mental hospital again. Her father, Liu Yunchuan, accused her of stealing her sister's husband and now showing up to attack people. But she fired back, asking who really stole from whom. She called him a weak man who married her mother for her money, a parasite who had no right to lecture her. He screamed at her to shut up, yelling that this house didn't welcome her and telling her to get out. But she calmly replied that they were the ones who should get out. She reminded him that when her mother died, the whole world knew she had left all her assets to her. He tried to play the concerned father, claiming he was just protecting her from getting scammed. She scoffed, telling him he wasn't worthy of being called her father. She revealed the truth. 15 years ago, right after her mother died, he brought his mistress and their illegitimate daughter into the house. The stepsister claimed the unloved one is the home wrecker, but she slapped her across the face for insulting her mother. The stepmother called her a lunatic who should have been left to rot. This had been their plan all along, to get rid of her and keep the fortune for themselves, but she told them she was lucky enough to survive. She accepted, giving them an ultimatum in 3 days if she didn't see the deed to her family's mansion and her $600 million, they could prepare for their own funeral. Unfazed, she walked away and got into a car with a mysterious man. He asked if she needed help, and she gave a chilling order: aim the car at Lu Yunxuan and drive. He did it without hesitation, revving the engine and speeding straight towards her terrified father, stopping just inches away. Her father collapsed in shock. She got out of the car, coolly saying this was just a small suggestion to make them take her seriously.